word archetype, the first thing that comes to mind is the movies that I watch, books that I have read, stories I have heard, all dealt with archetypes that I could relate to in my subconscious mind. And it's kind of weird to learn about that. They were archetypes and how I could relate to some of these characters that were in these stories. I until I read Carl Jung's work, I didn't realize that. And it's kind of like making the subconscious conscious. And Carl Jung added to that you call it faith. And it's a little weird to realize that this or those stories is an archetype that you can relate to. So, one of my favorite cartoons or movies, anime movies, was Beauty and the Beast. And I always could relate to Belle that she wanted more than this mundane life that she had lived and wanted adventure. And she kind of got that, going to the Beast's castle to rescue her father. And, how the story goes, she falls in love with the Beast. She didn't like him in the beginning, but slowly but surely fell in love with him and tried to protect him from the villagers that were trying to kill him because they thought he was what they saw from the outside. He was only a beast. And after she fell in love and he fell in love with her, he ended up as this handsome prince. And it's kind of like that with life too. You know, you look at your life and, you're jotting down in your journal like patterns that you're doing and trying to figure out where can I improve? Where can I set goals? Is this the job I really want? Do I want to do something different? When I first when I first even considered my job, I thought it was quite a boy's job. I'm in the tool and die business, and for me to actually decide, hey, I'm going to do this, and go through the schooling, you know, ending up getting a job in the field is basically kind of like my own collective unconscious or DNA or whatever you want to call it speaking to me because my uncle was a tool and die maker. My grandfather was a mason, um, meaning building walls and buildings, and it all just came natural to me. And it was like weird. And anytime I saw my uncle, and he goes, "Are you still at that job?" And it's like, and everybody just kept on saying, "Oh, it's a family trait. So why wouldn't she be in it?" Like it was basically normal. So, in that, basically, in a sense, was my collective, my unconscious or my family traits coming out of me. But there are those other archetypes, like the shadow, the trickster, the wise old man, the internal mother, and they do talk to you. even in dreams, they want to be heard and communicate with you. And the way you do that is basically, write it down, ask yourself questions, get into like a deep meditation where you're asking yourself a question on what to do. You know, is this behavior normal? Or even what's even unique too is when you look at another person, you're actually reflecting yourself off of them. And it's a great way of just looking at yourself in a different light. Well, I hope you got something out of this. Share, like, and thank you for watching. Stay curious.